Good morning, everyone. Imagine scrolling through your social media feed and you see an infographic about climate change with striking visuals and bold statistics. You share it because it looks professional and trustworthy. But what if I told you that infographic was designed with intentionally misleading data and thousands of people are now spreading false information based on something that looked credible simply because of how it was designed? This is the crisis we face today. Every single day, billions of people encounter designed visual content, from social media graphics to infographics to new layouts, often without questioning whether what they're seeing is authentic. We've been trained to trust design. Professional-looking graphics feel authoritative. Polished layouts suggest credibility, but design has become increasingly weaponized. It's being used to spread misinformation, deepfakes, and manipulated visuals that erode public trust in everything from election to science to our own media institutions. The uncomfortable truth is this: visual communicators must take responsibility for how images, infographics, and layouts shape truth in the digital age. Design ethics are no longer a nice-to-have consideration. They are critical in combating this crisis of authenticity. Today, I want to show you why designers have a moral duty to combat visual misinformation by examining 3 crucial points. First, the dangerous power of design in spreading falsehoods. Second, the professional ethical obligations that designers already have. And third, the practical solutions designers can implement right now to promote truth through their work. The dangerous power of design. Let me start with something important. Design is extraordinarily powerful. It aims to affect human thought and behavior through visual communication. According to research published in Design Issues by MIT Press in 2024, graphic designers need a robust understanding of how people process information because all the principles involved in understanding and affecting behavior are defined in the social sciences. In other words, designers aren't just making things look pretty, they're influencing how people think. This power can be used for good or evil. Research from the Sustainability Directory shows up how misinformation spreads through design. Professionally designed graphics with catchy slogans and striking images can easily go viral on social media, even when the information they contain is completely false. And here's what's particularly insidious. Fake news websites often mimic the look and feel of legitimate news sources using similar layouts, fonts, and branding to deceive readers. They're weaponizing design itself. The deepfake crisis illustrates how urgent this problem has become. According to KeepNet Labs' 2025 report, deepfake files surged from 500,000 in 2023 to a projected 8 million in 2025. Think about that for a moment. Fraud attempts spiked by 3,000% in 2023, and deepfakes are now responsible for 6.5% of all fraud attacks, representing a 2,137% increase from 2022. We're watching the problem accelerate exponentially, and it's not just videos of celebrities anymore. As Advertising Week reported this year, Google's AI tools can now generate hyper-realistic videos of riots, election fraud, and fabricated political events. We're entering an era where authentic photos can be dismissed as fakes. The implications for democracy, for journalism, for public discourse are staggering. And the designers are either part of the solution or part of the problem. Here's where I want to address something directly. Some people argue that designers should simply deliver what clients request and not worry about whether the content is truthful. That's not how professional design works. AIGA, the Professional Association for Design, has published the Design Business and Ethics series, establishing that its missions includes educating designers, clients, and the public about the ethical standards and practices governing design. They represent the authority on professionalism within the design disciplines. But it's not just one organization saying this. The Design Society's Code of Professional Conduct, updated in 2025, explicitly states that members should be truthful, honest, and respectful in all dealings. They emphasize that ethics and integrity are not an optional extra or a regulatory burden, but an integral part of good professional practice. Similarly, the Industrial Designers Society of America, IDSA, has a code of ethics that requires designers to participate only in projects that reasonably judged to be ethically sound and issue only truthful and non-misleading public statements and promotional materials. This establishes a clear benchmark of honesty, fairness, and accountability. So the argument that designers are just mutual executors of clients' wishes, that contradicts the professional standards these organizations have established. According to researchers in human-computer interaction like Lindbergh, ethical responsibility in design is often thought of as someone else's problem. But this disconnect leads to inconsistent attention to ethical problems. What we need is for designers to embrace ethics as a collective effort, not as individuals throwing up their hands and saying, "That's not my responsibility." Professional design organizations have already told us it is our responsibility. The good news, designers are already finding ways to combat misinformation. It's not just about saying no, it's about designing for truth. Companies like Dove have taken a stand against AI-generated images. They've committed to never using AI to create or distort women's images. According to Advertising Week, this demonstrates that brands and designers can prioritize authenticity over convenience as the industry transitions into an era where 90% of the content is predicted to be AI generated by 2025. This isn't just ethical, it's also smart business. And there are technological solutions emerging. Google DeepMind has developed SynthID, which enables designers to identify AI-generated or altered content through watermarking tools. This fosters transparency and trust in generative AI. Meanwhile, companies like Blackbird.ai are helping organizations address reputational harm by analyzing disinformation risks before content goes public. But beyond tools, there are strategic approaches. Research from the Sustainability Directory recommends 3 key strategies for ethical design. First, designers should create interfaces that clearly label as AI-generated or manipulated. Transparency as design principle. Second, we need to develop algorithmic accountability that prioritize factual accuracy and source credibility over engagement metrics. And third, designers should promote media literacy initiatives that teach critical thinking and media evaluation skills. What's particularly inspiring is that designers worldwide are already mobilizing. The South Korean design studio Everyday Practice collaborated with 60 creatives to push designers' roles in repairing social disruption and resisting abuse of power. They're demonstrating that designers have power, and that power should be used to defend democracy and truth through visual communication. So here's what I want to leave you with. Although some argue that designers should simply fill client requests, the evidence clearly demonstrates that visual communicators have a profound moral responsibility to combat misinformation in the digital age. This isn't about being naive or impractical. It's about recognizing that design shapes reality and therefore designers shape truth. Every designer can contribute to this effort. You can learn to recognize manipulation techniques. can advocate for transparency in AI-generated content. You can refuse to participate in projects that spread falsehoods. These are choices within your control. By prioritizing truth and ethical practice, you're not just protecting your profession's integrity, you're safeguarding democracy, public trust, and the shared reality upon which society depends. That's not a small thing. That's fundamental. We live in an era of deepfakes and visual manipulation. Your design choices can either deceive millions or defend the truth. The choice and responsibility is yours. Thank you.
Thank you.